In the 1980s, friends of mine and I, we used to go from New Orleans up to Memphis fairly often. If we saw someone in New Orleans that we liked, some band, we would get in the car and go up to Memphis if they were playing there next. And a lot of times they would be playing there next. They'd be doing a circuit for that region. So sometimes their next stop might be in Shreveport. Sometimes it might be in Austin or Beaumont, Texas. Just depends, right? So we ended up going to Memphis quite a bit. A day after we'd see someone, or 2 days, or a week, depending on where they stopped. My friends and I were going up to Memphis this one time, and this was early 80s. And of course, all the blues clubs on Beale Street then, they were typically the clubs where these guys would play, right? So that's where we go. Now, at that time, Beale Street was pretty rough. I mean, it was not like it is now. It was pretty rough, pretty beat up, pretty scruffy. And now it's like kind of like a blues Disneyland. I mean, it's very commercial. It's very clean. The rest of Memphis, not so much, but that area is very tourist friendly now. And so we're going to jump up there. I think, if I remember correctly, we were either seeing Jimmy Vaughn and his band, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, or we were seeing Stevie Ray Vaughan and his band, Double Trouble, because we had seen them the night before, or 2 nights before, either at Tipitina's or the Maple Leaf or somewhere in New Orleans, or one of the many clubs where bands like that would play. So we get up there and we see the band, whatever it was, I don't remember, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're walking back from the club to our car. We're wandering around because, we're trashed, and we can't remember where we parked our car. We're walking down the sidewalk, and this Memphis police officer pulls up in his car right next to us, flips on his lights, and gets out. And he comes over to us, and he gives us the whole, Southern cop thing. What are you boys doing? We tell him, we just came out, show, we're looking for our car. And he says, what, what's wrong with you? Don't you know this is one of the most dangerous places in Memphis that you can be? You're taking your life in your hands. You're just, what are you, crazy? Are you nuts? Are you stupid? He said, where'd you boys come from anyway? And we said, well, we came up from New Orleans. He said, oh, go on ahead then. You'll be all right. With the subtext being, if we were from New Orleans and we had, I guess we had seen much worse than what was in Memphis, which is probably true. I mean, New Orleans was like the murder capital of the United States for every year for years. I think it's still in the top 3 or 4 every year now. But anyway, he just said, you're from New Orleans. Well, just go on then. You'll be fine. And he just got in his car and left.